Alright, let's get this live stream up and running. Happy New Year to everybody. If it's New Year yet where you are in your part of the world, we're all in different time zones. Apologies in advance if my speech is a little slurred. I'm a bit tired and slightly inebriated, so you'll have to bear with me. As usual, let me get these settings under control. Where are my settings at? YouTube settings, okay. Big up everybody watching. The new year is upon us, 2017. What fights are you guys looking forward to this year? What fights are you looking forward to that are gonna happen, and what fights do you hope are gonna happen? Like, what would your dream 2017 be? Let me know in the comment section, people. Before we get some visuals, I'm just gonna sort out these. Alright, my tags. I will catch up to you lot in the chat room in a second. I'm just sorting out these YouTube settings. What are we on here? Slow mode. Oops. 2017 is here. Time flies, boy, especially as you get older. The years just pass by like weeks or months. Scary, man. The weeks pass by so fast. Okay, I think I got all my settings where I want them to be. Let's get into this live stream. Where we at? Okay, yep, there we are. Yes, big up everybody in the chat room. Mr. Boxing today, as always, big up, sir. Happy New Year. C Mac, Bradley Tucker, Kenneth Brown, Kenneth O, James Featherstone, Daniel Selvage, Real Talk Sports, big up everybody. Vlad Dracula. Someone came in drunk and knocked over that tree. I think that's highly likely. I think that is highly likely. I've had kind of a relaxing day, like most days. But I have had a little bit of rum, so I'm slightly inebriated. But that's okay. You know, I took a stroll and had a little bit of rum. In fact, I still got a bit of rum here, a glass of rum and ginger beer. It's all good. Hatman versus Dylan White 2017. I certainly hope not. I don't really fancy my chances, to be fair. Alright, let me actually put some gameplay on here. Got to be free. What's good, bro? What is good? Andrade versus Charlo twins. I'd definitely like to see that. Hell yeah. Winner of Thurman Garcia versus winner of Brooke Khan. Definitely. Goes without saying. The welterweight division is consistently one of the strongest divisions in boxing, decade after decade after decade. There's something about guys who weigh in that 147-pound weight bracket, probably between 140 to 147. There's something about guys where everything just clicks. Power, speed, and everything, to where they can make the most entertaining fights.
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Historically, the welterweight division is always like that.
That we have.
What do I think of a potential White versus Wilder clash? I would definitely favor Wilder in that fight, but then again, we have to see what Wilder's going to be like with this hand injury, because he keeps re-injuring that same hand, and that's his money punch at the end of the day. That's his Sunday punch, the straight right hand. So if you take Wilder's right hand away, what does he really have left? He's a clumsy fighter. Yes, he's athletic, but he's clumsy and he does make mistakes. So if you take his right hand away, how effective can he really be? I know that since he's injured his right hand, I've seen some of his training footage, he's been working a lot on his left hand, and his left hook does look improved. In fact, his left hook was improving even before he injured his right hand, but since it's been injured, he's been working on his left hook exclusively, as you're supposed to, because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Joe Frazier was naturally left-handed. I think he was naturally right-handed, but he injured his right hand at some stage, maybe in his amateur career or his early pro career, and that meant that he started working exclusively with his left hand for a while, and it turned out to be his dominant hand. I could be wrong there, but I swear that's the story that I can remember. So Wilder's doing the right thing, working on the left hand.
Yeah, well, at least you got a great view, right?
Let me big up some people here.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Big up Andy. Big up Superior number 1.
Wow.
Gary Russell Jr. versus Carl Frampton. That's a good fight right there.
In the middle of the city.
Stevenson Beterbiev. Definitely a good fight. Lomachenko versus Rigo. Obviously a great fight. I can't see it happening though. I think they're moving in opposite directions in terms of size. So you never know. Boxing is crazy. I mean, we didn't think we'd ever see Khan versus Canelo, and that happened. But I don't know.
Good question.
Yes, big up, big up, big up. Big up East Lon lad 08 UK. Definitely big up. Porter versus Spence. Yup, I'd love to see that. Definitely like to see Porter versus Spence. Two very strong guys. They might be, if not the two physically strongest, definitely two of the physically strongest guys in the welterweight division. So yeah, definitely like to see Porter versus Spence. In fact, I'd like to see Spence versus anybody really. Any of the top welterweights. Andy says, where in London you from? Bricky. Home of the brave. Let me just scroll up and see. Transformation said here. Porter versus Spence, yeah. Definitely like to see that fight. Ian Lewis and Dave Allen. That's a natural fight. Two Dylan White former opponents that he beat. So yeah, why not? We're stationed at Brixton Fire Station a bit. Oh, you're a fireman. Big up all the firemen. Doing a very important job. I hope that the government ain't trying to screw you over like they're trying to screw over a lot of people in the civil service. So big up all the firemen. Essential services, man. Definitely big up every time. Bethnal Green, home of pie and mash. Ain't that the home of Jelly Deals as well?
Hey, Sam. Looks like we're at the right tower. Call
East London is Jelly Deals, isn't it?
Well, no reason to wait.
Gameplay sounds too loud. Alright, thank you for telling me I'll turn it down. Gameplay sounds too loud. I actually did turn it down, but it's still too loud. Let me try and turn it down a bit more. Thank you for informing me of that. Alright, let me turn it down a bit. See how it is now. Put it on a 4. Let me know if it's still too loud or too quiet or whatever it is. Yes, big up, big up. Burton Buglioni too, definitely like to see that. Oh yeah, actually, let me address this whole Ronda Rousey thing. I'm not really a UFC fan. I got nothing against UFC. I respect the fighters and I respect the you know, the sport, but just from an entertainment point of view, I'm not really a big fan of it. I prefer boxing and I always have. But a lot of people are talking about this Ronda Rousey thing, and to be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of women combat sports, and some people might say, oh, that's sexist, but there's plenty of women that are not a fan of male combat sports, so it is what it is. But anyway, somebody asked me to do a video about the Ronda Rousey situation in terms of psychology in combat sports and what have you, because she seems to be like a classic case of somebody who believed in their own hype, and once they got beat, it literally shattered their entire world. It turned their world upside down, and that's basically what seems to have happened to Ronda Rousey. She got gassed up off her own hype, believing all the stuff that Dana White and all these other people were saying about her, and she lost obviously to that first girl, what was it, a year ago, and now she's lost again. I've seen it happen in boxing many times when somebody loses for the first time. I mean, it was almost a bit similar when Prince Nassim lost for the first time, because when he lost, and because he used to say things like, God will never allow me to lose. Yeah, and that's a deep thing to say. God will never allow me to lose, and he was really believing that. And when he actually lost, it seemed to turn his whole world upside down. And he never came back from that loss. I mean, he had one fight, I think a couple years later, and then just disappeared. His whole worldview was shattered. Yes, Vencap says she got the Nassim Hamed syndrome. She did indeed. Her whole view of herself was shattered, and yeah, destroyed her, boy. The same can happen to AJ. Rousey was the best thing since sliced bread, and now she's lost. Everyone's against her. Be interesting to see who sticks with AJ. I think personally that AJ is not as gassed by his own hype as Rousey was. That's not the vibe I get from AJ. I think AJ knows deep down that he's beatable. I do believe that. But Rousey, I think, literally believed she was invincible. And that's where you need to be careful when you start thinking you're invincible. As they say, pride comes before a fall. So, alright, what am I doing here? Where am I supposed to be going? I'm looking for what? I'm looking for the scorpion. Alright, where's the scorpion? Scorpion's not there. Do I climb this? Oh, you mean the public? Yeah. I mean, I don't think the people who really love Ronda Rousey are the people that are turning on her, to be honest. I think it's the people who are like indifferent or whatever. They're the kind of people that are making all the memes and that type of stuff for the most part. I think her hardcore fans are devastated. But the general public who don't really care one way or another, yeah, they're the ones that are taking the piss and making memes and all that kind of stuff. So, Nassim Hamed versus Floyd would have been one of the best build-ups ever. Yeah. Nassim could have had that fight actually, but he was too small for Floyd. Floyd was a huge super featherweight, and Nassim never actually fought at super featherweight. He only ever fought at super bantamweight and featherweight. So that fight was never going to happen, but what am I looking for now? Is it the bull next? The Taurus bull? No, Aquarius. Okay. Where is the Aquarius? It's down there. So yeah, Prince Nassim, very exciting featherweight, and he would have been, you know, a good build-up, him and Floyd. But ultimately, I think Floyd was too big. He was a massive, massive super featherweight. Do I think Gamboa can still be relevant in the lightweight division? It remains to be seen. But if he's got anything left at all, like he used to, if he can reproduce the form that he had in even the Terence Crawford fight, even though he lost that fight, he was performing quite well in that fight. I mean, particularly when you look at the way Terence Crawford has handled most of his opponents since the Gamboa fight, it makes Gamboa's performance look better. So if he can reproduce that type of form, particularly at super featherweight, then I think Gamboa's still got a future. We'll see. He's an exciting fighter, so I'd like to see Gamboa back in the mix. I do like watching him fight. He's reckless and whatnot, but he's explosive. Okay, what's going on here? Eubank Jr pay-per-view. Yeah, Eubank Jr is taking a piss with the pay-per-view, man. Some people are talking about, well, he obviously responded to the pay-per-view stuff and he said, look, the IBO belt has been held by Floyd Mayweather and all these other people, Golovkin. But what the IBO do is they give basically their title belts to people who are already champions. It's not like you find two high-level fighters fighting for the IBO belt by itself. You never find that. You always find the IBO almost gate crashing the party when it comes to unification fights. They see a big unification fight and they're like, okay, let's put our belt on the line as well. They're probably charging like £5 sanctioning fee or something, $5. Yeah. So they're not a real legitimate sanctioning body at this stage anyway. And I know the Eubanks have talked about the WBO weren't legitimate originally, and that's true. But you have to ask the question, how many sanctioning bodies do we need? Do we want the IBO to eventually get recognition and become a recognized sanctioning body, or do we already have enough sanctioning bodies and we don't need any more? I'm definitely in the latter camp. I don't think we need any more, man. We've got more than enough as it is. This is Uncharted 4, for those who are wondering which game it is. Whoa. Barely made that jump. Beterbiev versus Stevenson. Who do I like? I like Beterbiev right now, but I mean, you never know, because he is inexperienced and untested at the highest level. So we have to see, but he's certainly younger and he's got all the potential. He's got the amateur background. He's got everything that he needs. So I like Beterbiev actually, and I hope that fight happens. Beterbiev is one of the most exciting fighters in the light heavyweight division. And there's nothing blocking him and Stevenson fighting. They're both Al Heyman. None of them are with HBO. So that fight should be able to be made if there's enough pressure from the relevant parties. Here's the thing about the Eubanks. They're selling a poor product when it comes to this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view is a joke. It's not a legitimate world title, and the opponent is terrible. I mean, you look at you can go on BoxRec here. We all know BoxRec, the website, and go and click on the IBO title, and you'll be able to see the lineage of the IBO super middleweight world title over the past 10 years, because it's only existed about 10-12 years, the IBO super middleweight world title. Just go click on it and you'll see the lineage of that belt, all right? And there's nobody who you could deem as a top-level fighter that's ever fought for it, apart from maybe, I think, Sakio Bika fought for it. But Sakio Bika was really, you know, one of the weakest super middleweight champions. He's a tough guy and an awkward guy to fight, don't get it twisted, but he was always a nearly man, wasn't he, Sakio Bika? He lost to Andre Ward, he lost to Lucian Bute, he lost to Joe Calzaghe and all these other people. So, and he was the best person that's ever fought for the IBO super middleweight world title. And that's the title in the entire history of that title. And that's the title that Eubank is fighting for, trying to say it. So it's not a legit title. But here's the thing, you know, we're all criticizing the management of Eubank. And I've criticized the management of Eubank. But we have to wait and see how his career pans out to know whether he was managed badly, at least from a financial point of view or not. Because for all we know, going the independent route like the way they are might actually work out to their benefit financially. It just depends how gullible the British public is, the general public, the fans. I mean, what if this pay-per-view turns out to be a success? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't expect it to, but you just never know, because we're hardcore fans. We don't really know, or at least I don't really know, how casual the casual fans really are. Are they really going to buy this crap, or do they know better? If they don't know better, then the Eubanks might make an absolute killing, and from a financial point of view, it might be the best move they've ever made, because they're completely independent. They own the show. They're not breaking off no money with any external promoter, as far as I'm aware. So, and if it's a success, then that may be just the start of things to come with them. So we'll have to see. All right, let me catch up with some of these comments here, so I don't concentrate too much on gameplay. Okay, we're going in here.
Okay, Sully, I made it.
Money is more important to fighters than keeping fans happy. Yes, the Motto Channel UK, big up, and Happy New Year. Smithy all the way, big up every time. It really is a balance, trying to get a balance in it between the fighter making the money, because boxing is a dangerous sport at the end of the day. So we have to give some leeway to the fighters in terms of picking the fights that are going to make them the most money. But at the same time, we have to also demand from the fighter that they give value for money and they don't totally con the public with the type of opponents that they're facing. So it is a balance that has to be struck. At the end of the day, we are, as fans, as consumers, we are the people that have the power and the ability, for the most part, to dictate the market, to dictate who's going to fight who. Because if we don't pay for it, if we don't buy it, if we don't watch it, if we don't talk about it, then the fighters ain't going to make no money from it. So we do have a certain amount of power. Although, again, there's the hardcore fans like us, and then there's the casual fans who don't really know nothing about boxing. They just buy whatever they see advertised on Sky Sports or HBO, Showtime, wherever, when they're watching their television series and all that kind of stuff. They see the advert come on, they see the posters, you know. They hear the gossip at work in the lunchroom or wherever. Thurman Garcia, who do you like, says Eric Grammy. I was in the Thurman camp until I saw Garcia's last fight, and I know he didn't fight anybody good, but I saw a difference in terms of Garcia's movement. And his dad says that's down to moving up in weight. He's more hydrated now, and therefore he's got more energy. So I'm almost on the fence at the moment when it comes to Thurman Garcia. Maybe I'm still leaning a little bit towards Thurman, but I think it's more even than I first thought it was. What about you? Who have you guys got in terms of Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia? Joshua's lost some muscle. He looked more fluid in the Molina fight. I can't remember what Joshua actually weighed in the Molina fight. If he was lighter than usual, I don't know. But I remember him being more fluid earlier on. Maybe after 9-10 fights in his career. But when he started getting close to 250, because that's what he weighs now, close to 250 pounds, I definitely noticed that he was not as fluid as he was. And he's never been the most fluid heavyweight. Let's not get it twisted, but he's stiffer now, I think, than he was when he was lighter. So Kenneth Brown says Floyd Mayweather is technically the best boxer that ever lived.
Yeah, just a second.
That's debatable. Floyd is good at what he does against the opponents that he fights, but he hasn't been in a lot of other different situations against certain types of opponents. There are certain types of opponent that he's never faced. So how would his skills and his technical ability hold up against them? For example, there was a guy, many of you, most of you will know, called Tommy Hearns, who was a welterweight originally, and he moved up to light middleweight, light heavyweight, eventually cruiserweight. And he was like 6'2", 78-inch reach, ridiculous reach for a welterweight.
Look at these stars. They're just like the ones on the Avery and 2 sigils in the
Now, how would Floyd do against somebody like that? Somebody who's tall, much longer reach than him, who knows how to use the reach and has devastating punching power and good boxing skills. Floyd never fought nobody like that. He fought some guys taller than him, but they didn't have longer arms than him, most of them. Not even De La Hoya had longer arms, and they didn't really know how to box at long range anyway. De La Hoya was never really a long range guy. He was a guy that used to let his combinations go and mix it with you. So he never really had to solve that puzzle. I'm not sure he has the skill set to be able to solve that type of puzzle. That would take somebody gritting their teeth. All the guys who ever beat Tommy Hearns were guys who could grit their teeth, get in close, and take it to him. Even Ray Leonard had to do that when he beat Tommy Hearns. Marvin Hagler had to do that. Nobody was outboxing Tommy Hearns on the outside. He was too damn tall and powerful at long range. So I'm not sure Floyd could have dealt with that. So technically, he's good at what he does in the style that he fights against the opponents that he's fought. But is he as versatile as some of the other greats of all time? I'm not sure. We never saw it, so we will never know, but, you know. Right, this puzzle right here I've solved several times, but I know it's going to disturb me. Mr. Doc says Corrales had T-Rex arms. He did indeed. Corrales had much shorter arms than Mayweather. Even his reach is shorter than Mayweather's reach. He had T-Rex arms. He was tall, but he did not have the reach. Floyd controlled everything from the outside. And nothing like Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns way taller, longer arms, much better at long range, better jab, better boxing skills. It's totally different. Will I be purchasing the Eubank Quinlan fight? I certainly will not. I will definitely not purchase that. Not in a million years. I have to solve this puzzle here. How does this puzzle get solved? What way does that go? Okay, that's free. Alright, that obviously goes there. And this, bear with me a second, people. I'm just gonna solve this puzzle. That obviously goes there. Alright, this is the easy part, yeah. Alright, that goes there. Okay, so now we take this back to the thing and solve it. Alright, let me see. Watch out for me at the 2020 Olympics 6'2" welterweight. Timmy Fash. Alright, I'll look out for you. 6'2" is very tall for a welterweight. There've been taller welterweights than that, but that's still very tall. Okay, let me consult my book here. Okay, the skeletons that way. Alright. And this is how dragging it sideways. Alright. You're 6'6". How do you become a boxer? Go to a boxing gym, bro.
They are,
There must be plenty of boxing gyms. I don't know where in Kent you live, but
We're stuck.
no, we're not
just
stuck.
do a Google search with the wonders of the internet, and you'll find your nearest boxing gym.
Text a brother.
What am I doing here? Picture. 1 second, people. I will get back to the comments in a second. I'm just trying to sort this. Alright, where are we going? We're going in here.
You know, these are actually some
Do I
nice
purchase the
paintings.
Joshua pay-per-views? I do not.
Maybe we could sell them to a museum.
Let's find those star patterns.
Alright. Size 15 feet. Okay. Alright. Where are we at? I think I'm puzzle solving again here.
William Mays.
Looking for the squares. Where the squares at? Okay. There's one square.
Too.
Got that one. I need to answer this call.
Hey, you still in the tower?
Yeah, just climb back down. What's with the picture you just sent?
I'll fill you in later. For now, just tell me who's who.
Well, the Dolphins are Richard Want, the Triton is Joseph Farrell, and the two...
Laura versus Mayweather. Yeah, that would have been a good fight.
Stay where there's good reception. I might need your help again.
Nathan, did you find the treasure?
No, not yet, but I got a mechanism to solve here. I'll let you know.
Books, globe,
I'm playing Uncharted 4.
scholar.
FGP. Happy New Year, by the way.
He was the captain of the Dolphin.
Alright. That should be, what is this square at?
Best wig
That's one
competition.
square, 2 squares. Did I get this square over here? I think I got it already, innit? Yeah, I got it already.
Hey, Sully,
Let's
give me a
get
hand.
this.
You got it.
Thanks.
Khan lasted 7 rounds against Canelo, who's as big as GGG, but way more skilled.
Is it straight?
Who the hell cares?
Well, I care.
Well, Canelo has different skills than GGG. Overall, Canelo might be more skilled, but
Face.
he's not as good at cutting off the ring as Triple G, I can say that. I don't think he hits as hard as GGG. I don't think his chin is as good as GGG. So, I don't know. It's all hypothetical at the end of the day, but
There.
we'll never know. Canelo versus Triple G is something I want to see, but as we all know, Canelo don't want to fight right now. But I definitely would like to see that fight. Alright, we got all the things here, I guess. So what are we looking at? Alright, we're looking at this now. I think this is one of the puzzles that annoys me. So you guys might have to help me with this puzzle. If I can't remember how to do it. Canelo is 10 times a better boxer than Triple G on skill terms. Yeah, he's skillful. He's a very good combination puncher. He's more athletically gifted than Triple G. But yeah, like I say, Triple G does certain things better than Canelo as well. The way Triple G cuts off the ring is very good, and that is a skill to be able to do that. He's always poised to throw power at all times, even when he's moving around the ring and stalking you and you're moving a lot. In a blink of an eye, he can unload a shot and deliver power. So that is a very good skill that he has. All right, let me just sort this annoying puzzle out. How does this puzzle go here? Am I even looking at the right thing? Let me see this here. Yes, I am. Okay. Now. Hang on. Alright, let's line these up. This has to go where? Alright, let's free in the middle. Let's try to put that there. And this here. Hatman, were you even a boxer? Yes, I did box. Which way does this thing go? I think this thing goes this way. Looks like it matches. Yep. And then this. Oh man. Okay, I think I know. Hopefully it goes there. That looks like it matches as well. Alright. So foot goes that way, that's down. Right, let's do those first. Pressing the wrong buttons here. Yep, goes to the right, and the last one. On the right side. Yep, got it.
Okay. So who do we have here? You know, I'm honestly shocked you don't know.
Well, Hatman, tell this guy about Khan fighting Triple G. I don't even want to think about Khan fighting Triple G. That's a crime. That is an actual crime, man. We're talking about something that people should be put in prison for. Khan fighting Triple G. Khan fighting Canelo was bad enough. You know when Canelo knocked Khan out? Have you ever seen Canelo react like that when he knocked somebody out before? He went over to Khan like he knew he'd done something wrong. And he was like, oh shit, I really hurt him. You know, like when a dad is playing with his son or something, like play fighting, and he actually hits him really hard and like drops him by accident. And he's like, oh shit, hope he don't tell his mum. Like that's the way Canelo was behaving when he knocked Khan out. He knew that it was fucked up, that fight. And that's just Canelo. Imagine what Triple G would do to Khan. No, man. That's a crime. That's an actual crime.
Shit. What happened here?
A torch probably fell or something. Come on, let's see what's left. I don't recognize this guy.
Looks a lot younger than the other pirates.
People would have to go prison for that.
That's one.
Legalized manslaughter, exactly what what it would be, and it shouldn't be legal. Somebody should pay. Khan versus Triple G. That's horrible.
Nah, see there, Sully? Turns out Sam doesn't know everything either.
All right. Yep, you got that there.
Get up, look. Huh. Yazid Al-Basra.
Looks
I think it's there.
Close. Muggle.
wait, aren't the muggles the ones Avery robbed?
Honor among thieves.
It's a crime that would be one hell of a fight.
That's ever the case.
Which would be one hell of a fight? Oh, GGG fighting Mayweather or Khan fighting GGG? Because Khan GGG is this. Oh no. Triple G will get charged with Islamophobia. I think Triple G is actually Muslim.
Edward, England.
I know that Kazakhstan is a Muslim country, so I think he's actually Muslim himself. Alright, is that it? Have I got everything here? Have I got all the clues?
Alright, I got the names of two of them.
I think
Still
so.
able to figure
Let's
this
go.
out.
Let's get this shit solved. People still want to see Triple G Mayweather. I don't miss Mayweather in the game, to be honest. I don't miss him at all. So, he's no longer boxing. I got no problem with that. You know, I got no issue with him no longer boxing. Okay, let me see here. Right, let me, if I turn this that way and put it there, put it down, and then get this and turn it that way. Does that match? Yeah, that matches. All right, so is there any way that we can, yeah, all right. Oh, that don't match. Okay, I can turn that around. Hopefully this is right. Need one with 4 of those. Yep, that's it. Got it. Got it. Didn't even have to wait long. Alright. So this is the monkey. Should be upside down. And that one should have his head facing left. Alright. Let's just deal with the monkey. And then this left. And the other 2 are which way? Scales are upside down and the tiger's upside down. Alright. Huh? Why is it not? Head facing left. Monkey upside down. Oh no, the tiger's that way. Okay. Look at me making a mistake. There we go. Alright, let me get back to these comments.
What do we got?
You think his fighting style is what Floyd is not good against? Is what, sorry, Triple G is not good against.
You're the one who said he's the
Yeah.
Just saying.
But at the end of the day, no matter how good you are from a technical point of view, there comes a time when the opponents you're facing are just too big and strong. And so what size is that? As good as Mayweather is, what size do the opponents have to be to the point where his skills are no longer good enough to beat them? That's the thing. And Triple G might be that limit. In fact, some of the guys that light middleweight might be that limit.
And 2.
Anthony Joshua will reign for years, said it from his first fight. We'll see. We'll see. That's the one thing about the heavyweight division that I like. The fact that we don't know exactly what's going to happen, because a lot of these young guys are unproven and untested. So until they get proven and tested, then we won't know. I know a lot of people are talking about Tyson Fury, and I like Fury, but I just don't see him being this dominant force. I've said it many times. Maybe I'll be wrong, but just looking at the way he treats his body in between fights, and also looking at boxing historically, I just don't think Fury is going to come back and rule over the division. I just don't see it. This is a guy who is constantly drinking and blowing up between fights and doing coke and all kinds of stuff like that. Even before all this stuff to do with the media getting at him and all this kind of thing. Back in the days, in his early days as a fighter, he was drinking all the time and eating and blowing up in weight all the time. This is a pattern with Tyson Fury, and he's even doing it now. You've seen the pictures of him. You can't behave that way and last a long time at a top level in any sport, but particularly in boxing. So I don't see a guy who lives like that lasting too long at the top. I can't see it. There are exceptions, obviously, but more often than not, it's the rule. Yes, big up Seamus McMichael. Happy New Year to you as well.
How'd you get this number? Sullivan leave it on a cocktail napkin?
I wish. That only would have cost me a few shots of rum, right? No, I had to pay top dollar to find you guys.
Yeah. I hope you didn't spend too much on this whole Avery thing. I hear the competition's fierce.
Yeah,
what did you guys do for New Year, by the way? And what did you guys do over the holiday period? I'm sure some of you are probably working, some of you taking time off. What were you guys doing? Joseph O'Rourke says, any news on a Fight Night Champion 2 is so needed. Yeah, people have been saying this for years, that Fight Night Champion 2 needs to come out. When was the last Fight Night game? How many years ago was it?
You drop everything. Go home, live your life.
Don't really think Wilder is a clever fighter and will be exposed. I don't think he's clever either. He's athletic, he's powerful, but he don't have the best boxing brain, I don't think. What he does have is unorthodox moves, his power, his speed. Will be good enough to beat a lot of people out there, I think. but ultimately, of course, he's going to lose. You know, I'm not one of these people that likes to use the word exposed too much, because you could apply it to anybody that's ever lost a fight, really. I remember when Lennox Lewis lost to Oliver McCall, people said that he got exposed, but he turned out to be one of the greatest heavyweights of the past few decades. So, yes, and Happy New Year to you as well, sir. Nathan Sterling, thank you.
Let me guess. Goons with guns on their way here now.
Sam.
Superior number one. Hatman, since you're from London, who do you support, Arsenal or Chelsea? I'm not really a big football fan, you know, but if I had to choose out one of those teams, I would say Arsenal. Simply because most of my friends are Arsenal fans, but you know, I've never really been a big football fan, to be fair.
Hey, buy a new one.
Let me get out of this predicament here in this game. I know it's gonna get a bit mad now. What fight do you want to see most in 2017? There's a lot of fights. I definitely want to see Joshua Klitschko. I want to see what the hell happens there. If Joshua's the real deal, if this fight is too soon for him or not. I'm eager to see that fight. What the hell is going to happen in Joshua Klitschko?
I think that's Sam's tower.
Is Joshua going to get cleaned out? That's what I'm wondering.
Come on. This way.
Because he's had, I think, 18 fights now, Joshua, taking on Klitschko after 18 fights. And it's not like Klitschko's been getting knocked out lately. He had a fairly poor performance against Jennings, and then he lost to Tyson Fury on points. He's not been getting knocked out.
Sorry, pal.
Come on, down here, Nate.
So him against Joshua is intriguing. I'm very, very interested to see that fight. As soon as Joshua unloads on Klitschko, Klitschko will freeze, or as soon as he unloads, Klitschko will freeze. Maybe. Look at me, nearly getting blown up like a fool. Maybe. You know, Klitschko's not good under pressure. As soon as somebody hurts him or whatever, he does tend to panic a little bit. But then again, you have to be able to be strong enough and good enough to take advantage of him when he is panicking like that. Because Sam Peter had him on the floor a few times, and Klitschko did panic in that fight, in the Sam Peter fight. I know it was a long time ago, but Klitschko panicked. But Peter, being as crude and whatnot as he is, wasn't really able to take advantage of Klitschko when he dropped him. And he never really caught Klitschko that clean. You know, he never really hurt him that badly. Klitschko, that was not long after the Brewster fight. So Klitschko was kind of very anxious anytime he got hit with even half a clean punch. And he went down more out of fear than anything else. I don't think he was really that badly hurt in the Sam Peter fight. He was just worried about what was going on. So he took a knee. So if Joshua can get Klitschko in them type of situations where he has him under pressure and he is landing, then yeah, Klitschko might panic and whatnot. Because Klitschko is a classic on top. When he's on top, he's full of confidence and he's very difficult to box against. But when the other guy gets on top, Klitschko's the kind of guy who will capitulate mentally quite easily in many situations. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let me not die here. Shit, I got the wrong gun, man. Shit. Look at me. Yeah, Joshua needs to go at Klitschko from the get-go. He definitely can't allow Klitschko to get into any type of rhythm. He has to establish himself early. I agree with that. And I think it's going to be the case of Joshua having to defeat Klitschko mentally before he defeats him physically. and I mean in the ring, defeat him mentally. If Klitschko gets comfortable and he starts his jabbing and, you know, getting in the rhythm, I think Joshua's in trouble, because he's, you know, Klitschko's very good technically, as we know. Better than Joshua technically, definitely. Who the hell's still shooting me? Some idiot behind me. Me dropping my gun again. I was out, man. I wasn't even thinking about those guys. To hell with them. Right, where are we now? Oh yeah. Let's get out of here. What do you think will happen with regards to Brook and Spence, Hatman? I don't know. I'm not liking what I'm hearing from Eddie Hearn, because he's even been talking about Brook potentially vacating rather than fighting Errol Spence. So I don't like hearing that, because I want to see the Brook Errol Spence fight. But Hearn has been talking about potentially Brook vacating so he can fight Amir Khan, and I'd like to see the Khan fight as well, but not at the expense of vacating his title. Because let's look at it. If he vacates his title, what motivation would he then have to fight Errol Spence? Errol Spence is mandatory for the IBF, but he's not a massive name, Spence. You know, he's making a name for himself, but he's not so big that it would be a big payday for Kell Brook without a title being on the line. Because as the champion, Kell Brook gets what is it 75% or whatever it is, 75-25 split if he fights Errol Spence as mandatory challenger. So if he's no longer a champion, Errol Spence probably would want more than 25%, maybe anyway. So I don't know, man. I don't like the things that Eddie Hearn is saying about Brook Spence at the moment. Brook seems to be exploring all other options rather than fight Errol Spence at the moment. Brook wants the biggest fights. I'm not saying that Brook is afraid of Errol Spence, but in terms of risk reward, he's looking at it and saying, man, this is a risky fight, and the money is not going to be crazy. It's not going to be the kind of money I got against Triple G probably, and it's not going to be the kind of money that I would get fighting Amir Khan or, you know, some of the other guys out there. So I think that's what Hearn and Kell Brook are thinking. We'll have to see what happens. Because I read recently that the IBF do not allow step aside. They don't allow, you know, step aside situations. I'm not sure if that includes if that includes unifications as well, or if it's just for mandatories. But certainly for mandatories, from what I've read, the IBF do not allow step aside. So Brook's either gonna have to fight Spence first and then fight Khan, or he's gonna have to vacate. Let me just pause this for a second. Read some comments here. Right, Eric Grammy says, I think Brook knocked Spence's head off. Spence messed up Brook's Khan payday. We all know he's going to vacate. Joshua will lose because he's very open to left hooks, and Klitschko will clinch the hell out of him. I heard if Brook vacates, Sir Heyman has lined up Spence versus Lightning Rod Salka. Yeah. Not squared up. You know, I rate Spence. I think he's good. I'm not saying he's invincible or anything like that. I don't think anybody is invincible, and certainly nobody in the welterweight division. But as much as people say Spence makes mistakes, Kell Brook makes mistakes as well. They say Spence got hurt in a couple of his early fights. Kell Brook got dropped in one of his early fights, one of his British level fights. And he also got hurt by Sinchenko. You might remember it. Sinchenko is not a big puncher. So all the things that people are saying about Spence, you could apply that to a young Kell Brook. I think Spence is good. I think he's one of the best body punchers in the game right now. I think he's got momentum. And I think he hits hard. And he's got good all-round skills. So I think it's a very tough, difficult fight for Kell Brook, particularly that when Brook is coming down in weight from 160 pounds middleweight And you look at that historically, fighters who have come down in weight again tend to have problems. So that's one issue for him. Also, he has got that damaged eye from the Golovkin fight. We don't know how that's going to be when he gets hit on that eye. Many fighters who have had that type of injury, they tend to be prone to swelling on the eye that got injured. So we have to see. Remember, that eye injury was very serious. I said at the time that the referee was right to stop it, because if Brook kept getting hit on that eye, there was a chance he could have gone blind. And that's exactly what the doctors told him after the fight. Kell Brook has said that publicly many times, that the doctors told him if he got hit on the eye a few more times, he could have gone blind. So it's a very serious injury that he had. When you put all those things together, plus the momentum that Spence has, Brook coming down in weight and all that, I don't know. I think it's a very tough fight for Brook, and I think he knows it. I think Eddie Hearn knows it. So they're looking at other options first before. As far as I'm concerned, the way it looks, Spence to them is a last resort. Let's see how Spence reacts to a big puncher. Yeah, you know, we have to see that. Spence has definitely never fought anybody as good as Kell Brook so far in his career. That's definitely true. But I don't think, well, he obviously Brook fought Triple G, but this fight is going to be at welterweight, where Brook is going to be drained. So we'll see. You just got back. Yo, just got back from club. Anyone know how to unlock an iPhone 6? Sorry, I wish I did. How much are they charging to get in clubs these days on New Year's Eve? It's still an arm and a leg. It must be. Let me get back into this. This famous chase in Uncharted 4. Oh shit. Oh, my driving is terrible right now. Up here we go.
Keep an eye out for Sam. Hey, I think that's him. Right there. Hold on. What do you think I've been doing?
Let me see. Triple G versus Callum Smith. How good is Callum Smith? We'll see. You lost your jacket in the club. Found a phone in the cab home. Yeah, King Kong hasn't looked particularly good in his last couple fights. I have to agree with that. Nathan Sterling says, who do you think will win, Thurman or Garcia? I'm slightly leaning towards Thurman, but after seeing Garcia in his last fight, he looked a lot faster and more fluid than I've seen him before. So I think it's more even than I first did. So I'm still leaning towards Thurman, but I wouldn't be surprised if Garcia pulls it off. Let me just do this little chase sequence here. Get back to the questions in a minute. 1 sec. Oh my gosh, where are we going? Now, speaking of games, this really is a very good game in terms of gameplay. When I first got this game, I was disappointed by the story, because I don't think it really lives up to the level of the storytelling in Uncharted 2. Probably not even Uncharted 3 in terms of the characters and the twists in the story and all that kind of thing. But in terms of gameplay, this is the best Uncharted game. Definitely. Definitely the best Uncharted game in terms of gameplay. Alright, we need to get up before we get squashed here. Yeah. Come on, man. Yep. Will I make it? Whoa. Jeez, man. You shooting at me here? Leave it out, man. Somebody's still shooting at me. Who is it? Oh man, I'm gonna die. I'm dead. I made it somehow, boy. By the skin of my teeth. Alright. Get out of here. Jeez, my health is going down so quickly. Ridiculous. I need to get off this vehicle before I cop it. No, I'm dead. Alright, I'll get back to the comments in a second, guys. Let me just try to sort out this annoying car chase. It will do my head in if I don't beat this bit. Alright, where are we at? Got him. Jump. Oh, come on, man. You're supposed to jump in here. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Alright. Got that one sorted out. This guy. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Alright, we need to get on a new vehicle now. Oh, just about made it. Get out. Alright. That's the result. Oh, no, 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 no.
I gotta catch up with Sam.
Need to get on that vehicle, I'm sure. Remember this spot. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna die here. This is not a good look. No, I'm definitely a dead man. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, Rigo Lomachenko, I don't think that ever happens. I don't think Rigo Lomachenko is ever gonna happen. I think they're going in two different directions in their careers. Rigo, I don't see Rigo lasting too long at the top now. How old is he now? He's like 36 or something. And you know, at those lighter weights, the guys don't tend to have as long a careers generally. There are exceptions, as always. I'm sure somebody wants to point out an exception, but generally the lighter weight guys don't tend to stick around as long in their careers. So I don't know how long Rigo's gonna be about. What do I think about David Haye and AJ? Another fight I'd love to see. We really need to see, you know, this Klitschko AJ fight is going to answer so many questions. Because we're going to find out whether AJ can actually fight and if he's actually ready for this level. I think he can fight, but, you know, is he ready? It's like a young Vladimir Klitschko. They were talking about him fighting Lennox Lewis. The Corey Saunders fight was supposed to be almost a tune-up fight for the Lewis fight. And look what happened. He wasn't ready for that level. Later on, he was ready, but at that particular time, he wasn't ready. So is AJ ready? I think he has the potential. You know, he's got the pedigree with the Olympics and all that kind of stuff, and he has the physicality, you know, the physical gifts needed to be a modern heavyweight champion, the size and all that, the athleticism. He's got the dedication, but so much of boxing is mental, not just the physical, the experience and all that kind of stuff. So is he ready? We'll see. And if he's able to deal with Klitschko, that'll give us at least an idea of if he's ready to deal with somebody like David Haye from a mental point of view. Because again, David Haye is a totally different style than Vladimir Klitschko. So dealing with somebody mentally and dealing with somebody physically are two different things. So we'll see. Man in Water says AJ is the new Bruno. I think AJ is better than Bruno, and I lived through the Bruno era. I think he's better. I think he's faster. I think he's more dynamic. I just think he's overall more talented than Bruno. You know, definitely. I understand people like to make the comparison, but I think AJ is much better than Bruno. I lived through the Bruno era, and I was never impressed by Frank Bruno. Even though he's strong and all that, big puncher, I was never impressed with him mentally. I felt like he capitulated mentally a lot of the time. And, you know, they say AJ is stiff. AJ is like Tyson Fury compared to Bruno. That's how stiff Bruno was. And obviously AJ was a lot bigger than, or AJ is a lot bigger than Bruno was. Bruno was only 6'3". You know, he's not big by modern standards for a heavyweight. Even though he was quite heavy, he weighed like 240. But in terms of height and his dimensions and that, Bruno was not particularly big. I need to get off this burning truck right here. What am I gonna do? Oh, okay, I can get on that. Kick these guys out. Where should Scott Quigg go now? That's the thing. Where should Scott Quigg go? Whoa. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Lee Selby. I know he's got a fight coming up, but I want to see Lee Selby versus Frampton and Santa Cruz and all those guys there. I want to see Lee Selby in that mix. Maybe Lee Selby, Scott Quigg. What is this guy doing? Leave me alone. You guys are jumping on my Jeep. What do I think about PEDs? Clit is like 8th or 9th greatest heavyweight. I mean, it's all subjective. It's all subjective. I need to get out of this burning car. Oh yeah, what do I think about PEDs? I think PEDs are rampant in boxing and in sport in general. So that's what I think about PEDs, man. Yeah, Gary Russell Jr. can't beat Lomachenko. Gary Russell Jr. was talking about having 4 or 5 more fights and then, or 3 or 4 more fights and then retiring. And the reason why he's saying that is because his hands are just totally destroyed, Gary Russell Jr. He's had some of the worst hand trouble that you'll ever see a fighter have. Much worse than Mayweather or any of those guys or Calzaghe. He's got terrible hand trouble. And because of that hand trouble, you know, he himself knows that he don't have long left in the game. And he's already lost to Lomachenko, as we know. And he's very short for that weight, Gary Russell, and he's got slow feet. Even though he's got ridiculously quick hands, he's got slow feet. So a much taller guy with much faster feet like Lomachenko was just a nightmare for him. Whoa. We are gonna get swallowed up by this car, boy. Man. How many bullets have I got in this gun, man? An endless supply of clips. Oh, yeah, we got it.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Alright, I will get to your comments again in a second. Let's just see out this cutscene here.
Let's get out of here.
Has anyone heard anything about Victor Postal since the Crawford fight? I haven't. I'm sure he's licking his wounds and planning his next move. And it looks like Lomachenko is going to be fighting Salido next. That's the noises coming out of the Lomachenko camp anyway. That's what Bob Arum's talking about. So we'll see. And I think that's the way to go, really. He don't want to leave any stone unturned. He don't want to have an what's the word I'm looking for? An unrevenged defeat on his record. I know it's all good people assuming he would beat Salido in a rematch, but there's nothing better than actually doing it. So Salido's still around, so why not take that fight next, deal with Salido,
Seems Avery founded the legendary pirate.
and then see what comes next.
More of a pirate utopia, really.
Okay, but what about the treasure?
See, as the story goes, this place provided a safe haven for hundreds, maybe even
Yeah, triangle theories indeed don't work in boxing. It really is. Styles make fights, and most fighters during their career tend to have some type of, boogeyman. Is Salido Lomachenko's boogeyman? I doubt it. I think it was just a baptism of fire, that first Salido fight. That was like a welcome to the world of professional boxing, where it's a hell of a lot more dirty than anything he's used to in the amateurs. Salido really did try every trick in the book in that fight to unsettle Lomachenko and get things done. So we'll see how Lomachenko adjusts if the rematch goes ahead.
Elaine, it's not what it looks like.
Really? Because what it looks like...
You say Lomo was robbed by a crooked American ref. Well, we'll see what happens next time.
I'd bet you're not the only ones looking for it.
All right,
Well, I don't know that he would trash Salido. I think he'll win the rematch, but I don't know. We have to see. Salido is
it's gonna sound crazy.
Try me.
A very, very wily old veteran, and he knows all the tricks. So
Sam.
We'll see what he can do.
Sam Drake. My brother.
You think Mikey Garcia would beat Lomachenko? All right. That's another fight right there, Mikey Garcia.
I'm sorry.
Is Mikey Garcia where he was before the layoff, though? I'm not sure. How many times has he fought since he's been back? He fought once, innit? He's had one fight. So is he really the same?
And the guy who broke him out wants a lot of money, and the only way we can pay off the debt is Avery's treasure. But that's the good news. We found it. It's on an island just off the coast.
Okay, just stop. Was there ever a Malaysia job?
Alright, Lomachenko will get his revenge. We'll see. Hopefully they do that fight and we can put all speculation to bed and know for certain.
Just say it.
I had to protect you.
That is bullshit, Nate. You just didn't have the nerve to face me again.
I knew
Okay,
you'd react
you're saying
like this.
Mikey Garcia would embarrass Lomachenko. Alright. So you really believe in Garcia?
For weeks. If you were killed, I wouldn't have even known about it. And now you have a brother.
The heavyweight, most of the prominent heavyweights right now started past 18. This is true,
Come on, it's me.
but the later you start, the later you finish generally.
To save him.
A lot of the heavyweights and fighters in previous eras started young, but they also finished young. You look at Mike Tyson, he turned pro 18 and he was really done by the age of 30, 31, 32. He was pretty much done as a top level fighter.
I got a plane to catch.
So you can start early, but you ain't going to go on that long. I mean, Ali was finished by the age of 35, 36. He was done. Whereas some heavyweights today, they're in their prime at that age. And Ali was another one who turned pro like 18.
Hey, what are you doing? Go after her.
We're not done here.
Well, maybe we should be.
What do you say?
Yeah, well, there are always exceptions, you know. And but yeah, Hopkins turned pro 28, ended 51. Indeed.
He's been in prison for 50
The later you start, the
years.
later you can finish. You're only as old as how many fights you've had, how much wear and tear is on your body. And not just wear and tear from fights, but wear and tear from sparring, wear and tear from miles and miles on the road, wear and tear from training camps. It all takes its toll on your body. There's only so much your body can take.
Go keep an eye on her.
Yeah, Ali took too many punches throughout his career. Way too many punches from very, very big punches. And back then there were 15-round fights. So he was taking even more punishment than the heavyweights today who are only fighting 12-round fights. Games that I get for Christmas. I don't get Christmas gifts. Yeah, I stopped getting Christmas gifts years ago. But as far as what did I buy for myself, I didn't even buy any games for myself, to be honest. Actually, no, I did. What did I get the other day? I got Street Fighter, but I don't even play fighting games. I don't even know why I bought it. Probably for nostalgia reasons, because I used to play Street Fighter back in the days when I had a Super Nintendo and obviously on the arcades, when it was out in the arcades back in the days, so... Yeah, heavier gloves today. Back in the days, they were using those little 8-ounce horsehair gloves. Can you imagine when George Foreman fought Joe Frazier in Kingston, Jamaica for the heavyweight championship? They were wearing 8-ounce gloves. Imagine that, heavyweights wearing 8-ounce horsehair gloves. That's like those controversial Everlast MX gloves that they have today, which are made with horsehair, where you can feel the knuckles right through them. Heavyweights were wearing those, but 8-ounce versions back in the 70s. That's what Ali was getting hit in the face with.
Sic Parvis Magnum.
Sic Parvis Magnum.
Do you ever buy games from the PlayStation Store? I
Listen, little buddy.
have bought a couple, but my hard drive is getting a bit full now, so I need to get a new hard drive before
Bring back a treasure like that, anyone.
I can start getting more
I don't know.
games from the PlayStation Store, because they take up a lot of hard drive space.
Done this one too many times.
I need to get like a 2 terabyte hard drive or something. Billy Joe beat the guy that people think would beat Triple G. Yeah, he beat Eubank Jr.
Somehow I imagine.
Indeed. But I do think personally that maybe in a year's time, Eubank Jr. will give Triple G a good fight. Just based on the styles and also the fact that Triple G's getting older. He's 30, what is he, 34 now, Triple G?
Oh, I mean,
And Eubank Jr. is getting better.
it's an island, right?
You know, Billy Joe Saunders is slick, and I do think that
Keep an eye out for any
Eubank
man.
Jr. froze in the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I don't think that was
Sure.
him at his best. So I think he's getting better. I think he's more comfortable now in the spotlight and in big fights.
So, maybe
And if he was to fight Triple G in, say, maybe a year, 18 months, I think Eubank Jr would surprise a lot of people by how well he would actually do. I could be wrong, but that's just my feeling on it. Because when I look at the styles, Eubank Jr does throw a hell of a lot of punches. He is fast.
Well, that definitely qualifies as man-made.
And Triple G is not hard to hit. I know there is some narrative by some Triple G fans that they're trying to make him out to be defensively blessed and all this kind of stuff. Triple G is easy to hit. You know, and if you're dealing with somebody who's offensively very good, they're going to find the holes in Triple G's defense, even if he's trying to be a bit more technical like he was in the David Lemieux fight. Because David Lemieux's balance was all over the damn place against Triple G. That's just how Lemieux fights. He's got poor balance. And Lemieux also was intimidated by Triple G's power. So he was staying at a certain distance voluntarily, not trying to get too close a lot of the time because he was worried about the power. He probably felt the jab a few times and he was like, damn, if the jab is that hard, I don't want to feel what the right hand is like. So, yeah, Triple G's defense is not terrible. It's not Margarito, but he's no defensive wizard. He can be hit. Don't have much head movement. And I just feel like the older he gets, when he starts... And this is what Canelo's waiting for, by the way. Yeah, Canelo is waiting for Triple G to slow down a bit. Or Canelo or his people. And when he's slowed down sufficiently, then Canelo and his people are going to be like, yep, we'll take the fight. That's what they're waiting for. And Triple G will slow down. There'll be one fight, probably a fight against somebody that most people expect Triple G to blow out. And he won't look particularly good. And all of a sudden, Canelo's going to say, let's make the fight next. I'm pretty sure that will happen. And when it does, it won't be only Canelo saying it. It will be a lot of fighters out there trying to make the Triple G fight. It will be Eubank. I mean, even after he fought Brook, there was a certain amount of fighters who started coming out saying, actually, I want to fight Triple G. Because they saw this welterweight landing punches against him. And they thought, you know what? If I land my punches as a full-fledged middleweight, Triple G won't just be able to laugh them off. So imagine in a couple years time from now, maybe 18 months time, if he has another performance similar to that but worse, as he starts to slow down with age, as we all do, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Eubank Jr could give him issues. Yeah, Eubank Jr is easy to touch, but I don't know, like, I don't think he's that easy to... I think Eubank Jr is getting better. If you saw the Blackwell fight, I mean, the way that Eubank Jr boxed against Blackwell, he was a lot more defensively conservative than when he boxed some of the other fighters out there. Yeah, you go look at the Blackwell fight, he's not really putting his chin out there the way he does when he fights other people. He was boxing against Blackwell. He was giving Blackwell the shoulder. You know, he was using the shoulder roll, the Philly shell a lot in that fight, and then reading off combinations. I think he'd do something similar against Triple G. I don't think he would be as offensive as we've seen him a lot of the time. I think he'd try to be more defensive and pick his moments to unload the combinations. And maybe he's got his dad's chin. We'll see. Maybe. If he does have his dad's chin, then I think Triple G's in for a hell of a fight. Because his dad had a hell of a chin. One hell of a chin.
Another arrow. Let's go find out where it's pointing, huh? Come on. Boat's right below us.
Yep.
What are we looking at here? Alright, I need to get off this. Whoa. That was a bad move. Where we going here? For anybody who's locked in later on in this stream, Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. Hope you guys all had a good rest. If you've had time off over the holiday period. I know some people make videos about New Year's resolutions, but I don't do New Year's resolutions. If you want to change something in your life, change it now. There's no reason to wait for New Year's. That's the way I feel anyway. If you have to wait for New Year's to change something, that probably means you ain't going to change it. Alright, slide down here. You'd like to see Groves smash Eubank. That's another fight I think is a very good fight, Groves versus Eubank. They sparred a lot, a hell of a lot of rounds, countless rounds in the gym. And from what I've heard, Eubank has actually got the better of it a lot of the time. I know it's only sparring, and replicating what happens in sparring in an actual fight is easier said than done sometimes, but that's what the word is, that Eubank has got the better of Groves in sparring more often than not. You do get some fighters, I'm not saying Eubank is one of these guys, but you do get some fighters who are gym fighters that perform fantastically in the gym, but when it comes to actually fighting for real, they can't reproduce the form in a real fight. And I tell you somebody who was a bit like that, Jesse Ferguson, the heavyweight contender who fought Ray Mercer, Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno, so on and so forth. There is footage. It's not named as Jesse Ferguson, so you have to really know what Jesse Ferguson looks like and know the shape of his, you know, of his physique and everything to realize that it's him. But there's footage of Jesse Ferguson sparring Mike Tyson. I'm not sure if this is before or after they fought. In fact, I think it's after they fought. There's footage of Ferguson sparring Tyson, and I'm telling you now, Ferguson was giving Tyson the business in a lot of these sparring sessions. And this is a guy who was viciously knocked out by Tyson. But in them sparring sessions, I'm telling you, they are going at it, and Ferguson is giving Tyson the business. And Ferguson was notorious for that. He was a notorious gym fighter where people would say, wow, Ferguson is surely going to be a heavyweight champion someday. But he could never reproduce the form in the ring that he was producing in sparring. He obviously had some, you know, decent performances, like against Ray Mercer where he got robbed. But actually, well, he won in the other fight. But yeah, he had good performances against Mercer, but most of the time when it was crunch time, Ferguson didn't turn up. Oh shit, I'm gonna drown here. I'll make it to the surface quickly. All right. Floyd fought Canelo when it was right. Yeah, he did. He did. He brought him down to a catch weight. He fought him when he was still green. But you can only blame Canelo for that. It takes two to tango. And Canelo's ego made him think that it was going to be easier than it actually was. He thought he could do the catch weight, no problem, and all those kind of things. So as much as you want to be angry at Floyd for draining him, and Floyd is a hypocrite for criticizing Pacquiao for all those years for doing catch weights, and then he's going to turn around and do a catch weight himself. So he's a hypocrite for that, but he didn't force Canelo into the ring at gunpoint. Canelo didn't have to do the catch weight, you know. So you really have to look at Canelo and say, you know, that was a foolish decision. But yeah, his ego his ego told him, nah, man, it'll be okay. You can beat him even with the catch weight, even with the weight drain and all that. With the lack of experience, we'll still beat him.
Looks like that one's pointing to that cave over there.
Sorry, my bad.
Man, this is some terrible driving here, people. Slightly inebriated. Driving? Is that what sailing? Sailing? This boat don't have a sail. I guess that's what you still call it. I believe Floyd could have beaten, I believe Canelo now would beat Floyd, but he copied Maidana's game plan. Or do you mean if he copied Maidana's game plan, you think he could beat Floyd? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at the time when Canelo fought Floyd, I thought that he had to counterpunch the counterpuncher. I thought that might be the best way to go. And I think that's what Canelo was thinking as well. He went in there thinking, I've got to counterpunch him, because all the other guys who tried to pressure Floyd didn't have that much success, or most of them anyway. Castillo did, but that was a long time ago. But the guys after that, like Victor Ortiz and, you know, all these other guys who tried to pressure him here and there, they didn't really have much success. So I think Canelo, because Canelo is a good counterpuncher himself, he was thinking, you know what, let me try counter Floyd. But it didn't work. You know, Floyd was just a bit too sharp and fast. So, yeah, in retrospect, if he would have copied Maidana's strategy of pressuring but being selective about his punches on the front foot, because Maidana, particularly in the second fight, was very selective about the punches he was throwing. He wasn't just throwing willy-nilly, he was picking his shots carefully, and he did hurt Floyd at the end of one of the rounds. It looked as though he might have knocked one of Floyd's teeth out at the end of a round. And Canelo, according to Maidana, and he's definitely more skilled, he's got faster hands, better combination puncher. The problem is, the only time I've ever seen Canelo really good at stalking on the front foot, and actually I'm not even sure if I can say he was really good, but he was better than I've normally seen him on the front foot, and that was when he fought Lara, because he was very, very aggressive against Lara, constantly going forward and attacking.
Look, the main entrance is blocked by debris. Again.
But other than that, he gives his opponents a lot of space, Canelo. He's not really a relentless pressure fighter like that. He likes to box his way into fights rather than have to be chasing people down. And I don't know how well he would do at stalking Floyd and chasing him down. I don't know. He tried late in that fight, but it was too late. All right, where the hell am I going here? I'm not going there. Tommy Hearns with KO Floyd. Yeah, where the hell am I going here? I can't see my route out. I played this game a bunch of times. I cannot find where I'm going here. Is it in here? No, there's treasure there. There's somewhere I'm supposed to go. I don't know where it is. Obviously, okay, it's over there. I see it. Sully was there. Alright.
Hey, Sam. Come on, give me a hand with this. Yeah, sure. Okay, come on through.
Let's go in. Alright, where we at? Okay, we went over there. 1 second, people. Hatman, no Twitter. No, I'm not really a Twitter guy. I do have a Twitter account, but I'm never on there. Anybody who follows me on Twitter will know that I'm never on Twitter. I don't tweet nothing. Occasionally I'll go on there just once in a blue moon, but I'm definitely not a Twitter guy. I've got too much to say, and Twitter limits you to a certain amount of characters in it, so it's not really the platform for me. Twitter's all about sound bites, you know, a little sound bite here, sound bite there. But when you give sound bites, you can easily be misconstrued. What you're saying can be misrepresented and misinterpreted, and I don't like to be misinterpreted. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Twitter. I go in there to get information sometimes when I'll Google a certain fighter's name to have a look at their Twitter to see what's been going on with them. But in terms of me actually tweeting and stuff like that, I don't really do it. Alright.
Okay? At least I'm on the other side. Okay. Still need to get you up here. Hang tight.
Where we at?
Sam! Anything?
Jump
Sam,
over there.
hey, you still there? God damn it. Let's see here. I ruined my marriage. Drove my best friend.
Alright. So, I don't know what time it is where you guys are. It must be New Year's pretty much everywhere now.
Not on the bright side. There's no one around to tell me I'm an idiot.
A 6'1" welterweight with that much power is mad. Yeah, it is crazy. Floyd had, Hearns had crazy power. Crazy power. 10:54 there. I guess that's PM. So you're still waiting for the new year. You're waiting for all the fireworks and all that business. Anyway, thank you for you guys locking in. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good night. Don't drink too much if you're drinking. Alright, I'm gonna end this live stream right here. Happy New Year to everybody. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.